Hello and welcome, welcome and hello, hello and welcome, welcome and hello, hello and welcome, welcome, hello, hello, welcome. It's Un Poco Mas, the show where we give you just a little bit more. Today, guys, just probably my last SoFi video before the ER. Just getting kind of like before, just getting a little bit tired of talking about SoFi. It's not that I don't love the stock. I actually just bought more shares and some more call options like 5 minutes ago. So I definitely love this stock. When it came down about $25.30, I picked up a few more shares. The great Naughty Lurker has joined us. Great Naughty Lurker, J Money. Thank you for joining us, J Money, on the broadcast today. It's greatest wrench in the business, of course. Great J Money, the great Naughty Lurker. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Welcome and hello, hello, and welcome, welcome, hello. Soon, Poco Moss, the show where we give you just a little bit more. What's up, user HRs? You're first. Actually, Naughty Lurker was first. First to lose his hair, first in the comments. Great J Money, great Clap My Dogs joined us. Jay Bizzle. Jay Bizzle, yes, I noticed that. You were talking about Iran. I actually started just a tracking position. I for some reason I had a couple of shares of that stock and I kicked in a couple more, but it's an insignificant position. So unfortunately I did miss this little rip, and good on you who owned the stock. You're making some great money today. Um what's going on? Jimbo Roofer, White Sensation, Promov Lead, Nostoplos, everybody, welcome, hello. Here's just a couple words. I'm not going to go crazy with this one. Low volume manipulation. Hold on one sec, guys. I got to take this up. Sorry about that, guys. I got a bunch of work here going on, but here's the way I look at this chart: is there are just no sellers. Let me make sure I'm not on mute. Below the 25 area. Um, if you look at this 6 month chart, guys, you see the stock break on through to the other side, 25, and then it pulls down kicking and screaming to this 2350 area, but really 2450 is all it's giving you. The highs vary. They kind of, there's a lot of resistance obviously at 30 and 3250, but there is quite a bit of variance. It's making highs here at resistance at 2870 at certain points, and then of course, after the offering, it dropped right to 2750. And 2750, besides this one pump and dump right at the first of the year, has been, resistance for the last, almost 2 months, which is kind of natural after you get an offering at that price. But remember, guys, smart money just bought a couple $1 billion worth at 2750. So smart money believes the stock is worth more than that. And to that end, JP Morgan in their last filing 121 disclosed ownership on 13G of 65 million shares of SoFi. Now, why is that important? You guys know who JP Morgan Chase is, biggest bank in the world, traditional bank, branches, investment banking business. They're the 800-pound gorilla in any room. Okay, and now this is not just like indexes or something, or this is them actively making an investment in SoFi because they believe SoFi is going to go up from here. And if they're buying, they raised from I think 45 million shares or 35 million shares to 65 million shares just in the last quarter. And you guys just saw the chart where the price action is. So where on this chart are all these guys getting 20? I mean, everybody now is kind of the conventional wisdom, just buy back in at 20. The stock's going to bleed back down. Obviously, they've been bleeding it as hard as they can since earnings, keep pushing it back down. You see overall this trend line coming down. It hits lows over and over. But I keep saying, why do they bounce a stock off the same low over and over? Is it because smart money wants to sell there at that low? Think about it. Think about it. They keep bouncing the stock off the same low over and over for 6 months. What makes logical sense? That smart money wants to sell there at that low and then buy at 30? Or does smart money want you to sell there? It's a war of attrition. That's what investing is. The patient, the calm, the logical, those who look at the numbers, those are the people who are going to win over time. The people who jump in and out and, respond to sort of the psychological warfare that market makers unleash on us, you're going to lose over time. And it's always the same guys. I mean, Bank of America just did, I think it was a big downgrade on SMCI. I might be wrong. But, you know, Goldman, I'm going to try to say, less. I know I say that constantly. It's very annoying. I almost said it again. But Goldman Sachs downgrading SOFI pre-earnings for no reason after being the lead underwriter. It's classic Goldman. And JP Morgan buying up all this SOFI while, their analyst has been tepid on the stock, to put it mildly, over the years. Now they raised to 31. And who's this unknown analyst from Seaport Global just throwing in a random hold with no price target? How is that helpful to anybody? Who are these guys? Touchdown Timmy Switzer. Looks like could be in a, Forrest Gump situation. Oh, touchdown Will and Grace here. They trot him out for the important stuff, to apply some more hair gel, maybe get some more, frames down at Warbley Parker. Maybe work on that 5 o'clock shadow, like you're not trying too hard. Like, oh, I just didn't shave to come into my job in an investment bank. Yeah, sure you didn't. You were cultivating that ridiculous stubble for this photo like your life depended on it, old Will Nance. Old touchdown Will Nance. Anyway, guys, I'm just bitter because I expected the stock to kind of move up into earnings as it normally does. But basically, they cut out all the volume and just absolutely stepped on our nuts. A lot of the people that actually own the stock, follow the stock closely. You'll find a lot of those authors on Seeking Alpha, and a lot of the ones I respect most are just reiterating their strong buys. Now, you have a guy like Bears of Wall Street, shocker sell. When I looked up his track record, it's at, how do you stop saying that? I sound like I'm from some teenage girl from the San Fernando Valley. Anyway, my point is, this stock has a ton of upside. It is a massive compounding machine. I think the fact that the margins aren't as rich as they eventually will be, it's a function of the fact that SoFi was this little student loan company, did a few other things. And then when student loans were ripped away from them, they had no other choice but for survival instinct to kick in. They started doing a lot of personal loans, started looking into other types of lending, but obviously personal loans was, and it turns out not only did it allow them to survive as a bridge, but it turned into a really nice business. They turned out to be really good at it. They were very disciplined. They loaned only to the very, most qualified people. And you remember a guy like the Fivehead who came out and did a full hour interview on why SoFi's loan book was going to fall apart due to credit quality issues. None of that came to pass. In fact, the opposite has been true. They're always way, way below any charge-offs, any, estimates for defaults. It peaked a long time ago, and that was the major criticism of SoFi for a long. What do the Bears go to next? They don't really have anything to play on because the business model is starting to work, and you're starting to see the leverage. You're starting to see the fact that incremental margins are going to move up rapidly because they've paid a lot of these fixed costs. They've paid for the integration. They've paid for the companies. They've paid for all the engineering. They have everything in place. so that the foundation of the company is there. And now they can build out any products they want and introduce them anytime they want extremely rapidly because they own everything top to bottom. It's a much more just because they don't move as fast as some other companies doesn't mean they can't. It's a strategic decision, I would argue, how they roll out these products, their capital structure. And the other thing is, okay, they're not cash flow positive. Well, every time you make a loan, that's cash going out. And so it's not what it looks like. This is a very profitable business. It's just structurally, that's how lending is. It's going to, especially when you're first starting, you're first scaling that business, because you're going to have a lot more money going out the door than payments coming back in the door for loans you hold on your books. But that's going to normalize over time. So all of this stuff was like short-term stuff, and you saw it showing up in EBITDA growth. And, people like me were saying, EPS is going to ramp just, 5-6 quarters behind the EBITDA ramp. And that's what we're starting to see now. And that's why I believe this is going to be a huge beat, not only in terms of revenue, but I think EPS is going to be better than people think, or at least profit is going to be better than people think. Remember, we do have, a lot of extra shares that are going to be in the share count that are not, that the money that we got in that money raise, I don't think has been fully deployed as yet. So that could be a hiccup. I mean, it could be an incredible top line beat, modest beat at the bottom line. That's quite possible. Guidance is key. Guidance is king. Yep. What's up, Jeff Glass? Got your tiny wing. You're all set. Clap my dog. Yeah, I give him 0 stars too. KBW, they were the New Year's massacre company. They downgrade SoFi when market makers want to hit the stock and drive the price down. I mean, I don't have any evidence that anything's coordinated, but it's just very weird how, they make calls on SoFi at these weird times. And then all of a sudden there's just this big, bear attack. Yeah, well, white sensation, I think that's the reality these market makers are running into. And I think a lot of people look at it and they say, okay, 54% or 53% institutional longs is all that's on this stock. And they look at that as sort of a weakness. Okay, 15-16%. So between institutional ownership and insider ownership, it's still just a little bit below 70%. So retail, and that's kind of misleading because it's not just retail in that pool. It could be other investors, family offices, certain smaller funds, I think, are not counted in either of those two pools. But, I'm looking at this and I'm saying retail, quite a lot of retail, those of us that have been here since IPOE, those of us that, are really kind of illogically in love with this company, as many would say. I don't think I am. I think I'm extremely logical. And I just think a lot of other people don't want to admit the truth that this isn't some meme stock, book value bank. This is like I said, this is a rapidly growing compounding machine where EPS is about to show an extreme ramp. Revenue has never stopped ramping, and it's not actually slowing as much as one would expect as the company grows in size. CAGR, I think, is underestimated for the next 5 years by at least 50%, if not more. I think there's a lot more products on tap than anybody realizes. Anybody who thinks this is just a bank, they're just not paying attention. They just have their head up their ass. They just have shit for brains. These were all the same people who are saying credit quality, the loan book's going to fall apart. Where are these people? Where's the mea culpa? Lo siento? Escúchame, lo siento, por favor. I'm a stupid asshole. I was wrong about SoFi. I don't know why it sounds like Speedy Gonzalez, but my impressions don't make any sense, and neither do I. Anyway, Gray Cool got 22,400 Neo and 6,000. Tell me you'll be a Turkish millionaire soon. Well, I like your SoFi position. I wish for your sake those numbers were reversed, Gray Cool. I think Neo will get there, and I think the price will move up. You know, people looking for 20 and 25 this year are going to be sorely disappointed. I think the stock could touch 10 this year. I think that's realistic that it could actually double. Um, but yeah, I think you know, it's been a rough road with Neo back. We had some hope getting up there to 8, and they've just absolutely crushed it back down. I think the company is doing everything they possibly can, you know, to right the ship, financial discipline, introduce great cars, great products that people want to buy. I think they're manufacturing the ES8, you know, in good numbers where they're not flooding the market with them, but they're getting them out there to meet demand. And I know there's a backlog, but I don't think that's really a bad thing because I don't think that backlog is going away because people really love that car in China. Um, yeah, DP Hallbach, Hollaback, ain't no Hollaback Bach. Um, Baby got Bach. Let's see. It's not a comment on your ass. I just love classical music. I thought you were listening to Bach. Oh, sure. Um, all right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I've been working out. Let's see. I've been doing butt thrusts in the middle of the street. It's an exercise I do. It's kind of like if you imagine that covert Bailey, like freedom rider thing. You're just doing butt thrusts, but it's just air butt thrusts. It looks a little violent, looks a little disturbing if you're fat like me, but you gotta do what you gotta do. What's up, Turbo Fireman? Fireman Pete's back. Does Fireman Pete, besides 3 or 4 beautiful Puerto Rican girlfriends, also sporting some kind of a classic car? My eyes are no good, but that looks like it could be a Camaro or a Firebird, something in that vein. I can't even tell if it's forwards or backwards. We got something going on there. I like me some classic cars as well. Welcome and hello, Fireman Pete. I'm skipping a Teams meeting at work to listen. That's holla back at your boss. I'll give you a note saying you're sick in the head. Um, yeah, it's scary. Nice 68 Camaro. I'm a C10 truck man myself. I got a 71 short bed. I'm looking to get into a long bed. I got a Camaro project. I love me some Chevy man, bow tie man. Um, the current products probably not all they're cracked up to be. And if you had that 6.2 liter engine and say a Escalade or something, you're not incredibly happy when that thing blows up. But then again, if you had the Toyota Turbo, that thing was grenading itself too. So, what do you buy? What do you buy as a truck guy? You gonna go out and buy like a Nissan Frontier? Come on. I mean, come on. I'm not buying a Nissan. Show up at the job site and just get laughed right off. Come on, guys, the Nissan Frontier. It's a good truck. Yeah, right. No, I mean it is. I had a Sentra when I was young. It's still in the family, going on like 400,000 miles. They're good cars, but it's not. Get a truck. You gotta get you a Ford. You gotta get you a Chevy. Got to get you a Dodge, or if you want to actually be sensible, you got to get you a Toyota. But what's reliable, and you don't know what Dodge is doing. I haven't actually heard about a lot of trouble with Dodge engines, as I've just heard more trouble with their overall, fit and finish, some design issues. But it's the Hemi and the diesel, the Cummins are still, as far as I know, still pretty reliable. Chevy 5.3 motor and diesel, I think I haven't heard too much about. Ford EcoBoost, I think, has been quite reliable. You guys want a little my 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 idiotic take on pickup truck power plants. I know that's why you tune into Poco Moss. Sure, we'll give you just a little bit more. And today, that just a little bit more is my take on the reliability of modern pickups. 22 RE engine is bulletproof. Oh yeah, the 94. What is that? The 2.5 liter. 2.7 was that 2. I can't remember, but yeah, the pickups, the older Toyota 4 cylinders were just. I saw this video um of, if you guys know the car care nut, he's a Toyota technician. He breaks down not just Toyotas but a lot of other cars, and he personally has Toyotas, and he shows you like known issues and stuff, and he was breaking down why those Toyotas are so reliable, and like why all the militaries and like third world countries in Africa, they all use Toyota Hilux, or what we call the Tacoma. And he took apart, I think, like the crankcase, and he was showing the gears in there versus like another truck. I think it was, some other Ford Ranger or something. And comparatively, the gears in there, it looked like a toy. It had like 4 times as much bulk and metal in these gears, because these are the things that break over a life. The other truck is engineered to go 100,000 miles. Like, this will last literally forever. This is a 1,000,000-mile crankcase, whatever. I can't remember the exact part, but if you guys like, these maintenance videos, Car Care Nut's a good one because it's not all the fluff and, a lot of people got mad that, this guy, Scotty Kilmer. I think he's kind of an old, eccentric guy, mechanic, but certain people got into it with him because he didn't like Tesla. He said Tesla was junk and all this other stuff. And then, it's just all very, it's all crazy. Like, the whole car culture on YouTube is like a whole nother thing. It's even more kind of idiotic and stuff than the stock guys. But anyway, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, guys. What else is new? What's going on? BTU mix, MTU mix. I'm sorry. MTU mix. Not much going on. Greetings from Germany. What's going on in Germany? Loving us Americans. I know that. 26,000 shares Neo. Got on a 6-figure Neo position. I actually think I have something like that myself. Maybe even a little more. I say unfortunately, not unfortunately. I'm still happy. Is SoFi going sub 25? I mean, it's trying to today, Fireman Pete. What's up, Scott? Raider fan. Go Raiders. I think we're in the Super Bowl this year, as far as I know. It's a nice part about being a Raider fan. You never have to worry about your playoff plans. Never have to worry about, are we going to be in the playoffs? No, we're not. Got a better chance of getting put in a headlock by Deuce Gruden at the supermarket. You guys big Deuce Gruden fans? I'm a huge Deuce fan. Guy's like John Gruden's son. He's like 4'7", benching like 500 pounds. Nice. The Ford F-150 4x4 2013 with the V8. What do you got? What was in there? They had either the 4.6 or what was it, a 5.4? I can't remember. What was around back then? I think you had 2 V8 options. No, you had a 5.0 and a 4.6, I think. That was it. Doubling. Yeah, I didn't double my position, but I picked up another 1,000 shares. That's really all the firepower I had. I've been buying all kinds of stuff, guys. Thankfully, I was buying quite a bit of CoreWeave the other day. So that's taken a nice pop for me. And then I've been buying a ton of SMCX. I just can't quit the stock. I think it's got another run in it. Yeah, the 5.0. That 5.0 Ford was a really nice bulletproof V8. It made a good amount of power, a lot of torque. But yeah. No, my parole officer is extremely flexible. I slip him a little cash, and he's very compliant. Brings me the stuff I missed from inside of prison. Prison wine. Prison mac and cheese. I wonder why there's not more support under $5 for Neo. Why the hell is there no support? I mean, it's kind of interesting because there always looks like there's no support from institutions. It was the same with SoFi, and then boom, all of a sudden it just catches fire and goes up. What's up, Stockman Mark? Low Country Luton Pawn is here. The great Low Country Luton Pawn has joined us live, not having to listen from his vehicle. Get out of the vehicle. Also, I do love First Amendment auditors. They detained San Joaquin. Oh. Name and badge number. My favorite. Give me your name and badge number. I want to speak with your supervisor. Sir, this is a Dairy Queen. Okay, then I'll take a Blizzard. First Amendment strike team. I don't answer questions. You got a tiny wang? I don't answer questions. Where are you coming from? I don't answer questions. Like fries with that? Yes. I'll answer that question. Can I help you? He's like, no, I didn't ask for help. I mean, come on. If you're outside of police, I understand a lot of it. And I mean, I'm all for the First Amendment. I mean, I was appalled by that, shooting in Minneapolis. I've never really been an anti-law enforcement guy, but I mean, they're really pushing my buttons, really grinding my gears. I mean, I thought this was like the gun rights crowd. I didn't have his gun out. Loaded, licensed, gun carrier. Not going to say it's necessarily wise to bring a loaded handgun to this type of event with things running as hot as they are, but I don't know, man. Looked like murder to me. That's just me, but threw the guy down, took his gun away from him, and then shot him in the back 10 times. I don't know. So I don't have the answers, but I don't think this is it. I don't think really anybody voted for this. I think Trump would be very wise to fire the Miller twins, that bald guy and his wife. They're horrible. They are horrible. But anyway, waiting for Neo to skyrocket, but maybe waiting for the earnings report. I mean, if Neo really hits profitability, I think that's an extraordinary achievement. I mean, I think that will send the stock up considerably. Now, people are asking me how high. I don't know. Because that's the thing, guys. When you expect a very bullish catalyst, hold on one second more. I got to get the hell out of here.